altered. There is magic in the mundane, bliss in the banal. The day is your dharma. I'm your host, Amaryllis, Ayurvedic health counselor, yogini, and Akashic Records reader, and this is your life, altered. Hi, everyone. I am back after an amazing spring cleanse. I've been gone for a while. I haven't had any podcast episodes, and part of that was because things that got put on hold for the cleanse, I ended up saying, I still need to keep it on pause. And it was beautiful. It has been such a great break, but also mental note to self in the future, record episodes beforehand so that they can still be published even as I'm on a pause and on a break. I have missed being on the mic here. I have missed doing these. It's something that I enjoy so much, and I'm happy to be back. Before we get into the Akashic Sunday session message for the week of April 5th, I'd like to share a couple of things about what I experienced in the cleanse, some things that came up, and just thoughts on that. Because if you've listened to the previous podcast about how to go through a cleanse and how to prepare for it, how to structure it, and then how to ease out of it, these are all things that you can plan and set and decide. What you don't know is what's going to come up or come through as you take this pause. What I noticed this year is that I didn't go as deep. There's so many things about it that just weren't as, I guess deep is the word, because the first time I did it years ago, I was working out of the home. And so being home for a few days and taking a pause was just this amazing time out, and it's such a gift and just felt very luxurious. But this year, I've been at home a whole lot, as you all can, I'm sure, understand, a whole lot more. So, me being at home and having a break is not much different from the whole rest of this past year. The way I even eat and the things, the diet and the things that I take in during the cleanse, it's special, but over the years, I've refined what I eat and the way I eat in such a way that it's normal. It's just commonplace. I don't consume that much sugar anymore. I don't consume that much dairy anymore, or caffeine even. It's just there aren't so many things that I have to cut out or eliminate, or that feels hard or challenging to reduce. So in that way, it doesn't feel as big. What did feel big was the emotions that came up. This is very typical when you do a seasonal pause, a cleanse, a detox, a reset. When you take that time out for more stillness, more quiet, more space, it allows in the body, not just the physical body, but the emotional body, the mental body, the intuitive body, it allows for things to come up and out, or down and out, to be expressed. This is something that I had mentioned on an Akashic Sunday session message from many months ago about things needing to come up and out. And yes, we know things need to be expressed in order for them to clear. But in the busyness of our life, in the busyness of the mind, things stay down. They aren't allowed to bubble up to the surface into awareness, let alone expression and release. For me, I had a lot of emotions come up, not tied to any specific event or person. It was just emotion. The biggest one for me was rage. I had rage come up. There are so many reasons that I could think of for this rage to be dwelling within, all completely valid and justifiable. And even the unknown, I had to honor the reasons, known and unknown. But I allowed this rage to come out. There was a lot of crying. I began doing a lot more yoga because, first of all, I used to teach yoga several times a week. And ever since COVID hit, I haven't been teaching at all. And I also haven't been doing my own practice. So I haven't been doing very much yoga. And I was completely humbled when I started doing my own personal practice again by the lack of flexibility and balance. And it irritated me to no end. So I rededicated myself to my own yoga practice. So as I'm going through this pause and doing more yoga, I'm allowing the emotion to come up and through. I would just hiss and spew during a yoga practice. I've never felt anything like that, but I allowed it without judgment. And that's the beauty of not being in a class. I'm at home and I can do that. There are a lot of times where I was just sitting and reading and it would come up and I would just allow the anger and the tears and what I call sacred rage. Sacred in that anger serves. It's a good indicator for things going awry. It's a good indicator for things that are off and imbalanced or unjust. And it's not meant to be lived in, but to bring something to our awareness. And as a female, what has come in my life and in my lineage of all the women in my ancestry, for all the women across the planet, that it felt very sacred to be allowing the release of this, the expression of it, and being completely okay with it, not trying to have to figure it out or understand where it was coming from, why it was there, how did this happen, what can I do to fix this, how can I change this, what can I eat so that I don't feel this anymore. No, just the complete non judgmental allowance and expression of it. And here I am a couple of weeks out of it. And it, of course, after it was able to be expressed, it's settled. And I haven't been feeling that for the past week and a half at least. This is something that a seasonal cleanse can do for us, is allow things to come up and out so that they're not creating disturbance and turmoil within the bodies, physical, mental, emotional, and such. So, because of that, it felt like a really successful pause, a really successful cleanse. There was a lot that happened over these past, 3.5 weeks. I had my 43rd birthday. Woohoo! There was Mahashivratri, which I honored and celebrated. There was the spring equinox, and that actually ties into the Akashic Sunday session message for this week. So keep listening to hear about that. Equinox is the spring equinox in particular is incredible because it feels like a whole spiritual reset. I have a lot of personal things going on, so it just feels like so much has happened in the past few weeks and that I'm just in a completely different place now. And that's the way I want it to feel. That when I reemerge from the cleanse, that I'm in a new place. I'm in a new place and ready to come out, having integrated all that was learned, not learned with the mind, but learned within the body, learned through that expansion of time and space and expression, through that beautiful pause, the higher learning, taking this higher learning out and into the world. And then from there, a really beautiful thing happened. Something within shifted. And what came out of this expression of rage and grief was a shift in the heart. Suddenly, there's this expansion of love and wanting to love bigger and better. The recognition of the ways that I'm not loving well and the ways that I want that to be different. Because I want the life that I live to be filled with love of the highest. And I'm going to do the courageous things, the small and big acts of the courageous heart that feel scary, that feel vulnerable, that feel difficult. I'm going to do those things. I'm not going to keep letting fear and all its little facets keep me from that bigger love. And that's how I'm going to be moving forward. And I also hope this inspires you to consider, if you haven't, even after the last podcast episode, to consider doing a seasonal cleanse, because it's not about detoxing the body. It's not so mechanical as this. It can be a physical cleanse. And this, especially in our modern day society, can be a very good thing. But it's also about what clears up in the mind, what opens up through the heart, what gets cleared through the emotions, what comes down and through from the higher mind, the bliss body. How can we evolve and grow and move forward in a better way after taking this time out? So, without further ado, I give you the Akashic Sunday session message. It was channeled this morning, and this is the message for the week of April 5th. Although it doesn't matter what time you're listening to this, it's always a good time to hear this message. What you're listening to is me in the Akashic Records channeling a message for you, the altered podcast audience. Take a listen. Let me know your thoughts. Here's the message. There's so much abuzz. There's so much abuzz. There's more excitement. There's more invigoration. It feels that there's more to do, more that you want to do, more that you care to do. This new energy of spring coming in with the spring equinox. It's a revitalizing energy. It's a renewing energy. It's an activating energy. Harness this and channel this. Do not allow yourself to get scattered with all the things. Direct this new, vibrant energy. What is it that you're wanting? The equinox was a spiritual reset. We are stepping into something new. Things are opening. There's something new here. There's a new buzz, a new excitement, even if it's just flutters. And what is it that you want? Channel, direct your actions toward what you want. You are supported by the energy of spring, the new bloom and blossom. The spring that feels that it was taken away last year is given anew this year in 2021. What is it that you want? Focus. Focus your energies, focus your actions, and enjoy this new spring energy. Enjoy it, delight in it. This is a time of something lighter and brighter, taking off the heavy coat of winter, shedding the old skin of the snake. What is it that you want? Step forward into it. What a great message, right? It feels very different than what's been coming through all through the fall and winter, and rightly so. I was speaking with a friend saying, I don't remember the same feeling last spring. I don't even remember spring last year because I was busy focusing on watching everything fall apart and fall away in my life and many people's lives, and just everything seeming as if it was crashing down and kind of going into this traumatic fight or flight, thinking, what is happening to my life? And so this year it feels so different because I'm noticing the buds on the trees. I'm noticing the flowering. I'm noticing new life growing. And that did not happen last year. I hope this message has landed well in your heart, body, and soul. It is spring, And this year, might we direct the focus? Yes, there's much going on in the world, but instead of being reactionary and inflammatory about it, might we direct our focus on what we want to happen, what we want to see, and step into that, move forward into that in our personal life, in our relationships, in our career, in the city, state, country, globe, collective consciousness. What is it that we want? And step forward with clarity and direction. Until next time, much love. Remember that spirit guides but never decides. How will you choose this hour, this day, this week at the altar of your life? Thank you so much for listening. If you feel called, subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it. Also, connect with me and discover more on Instagram at Amaryllis_Fernandez. Until next time.